Nothing casual about the NFL and about the way the Green Bay Packers do quarterbacks, which is to say they always do it right. So I tend to believe we are all sort of our resumes. I will judge you when you walk in the door if you have some age to you based on your resume, your life. I'm not seeking perfection. Thankfully, my wife isn't either. But your resumes matter. Don't dismiss your actions and your choices and your judgment. Over time, I will make judgment based on your life choices. And when it comes to quarterbacks, Green Bay's really good at it. And even though I'd like to see 6, 7, 8 more starts from Jordan Love, I only really got a great December and January, the Packers are and have seen enough. They're in. Jordan Love last year was bad early, good middle, great late. In December, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick, 69% completion percentage, and a 107 passer rating. Yeah, Jordan Love, though, if he goes to Tennessee, maybe Carolina, plays too early, could have been a disaster. This is what the Packers do. They draft, they're patient, and they develop. Look at your own life. How valuable was your mom? Maybe a high school football coach. Maybe an aunt. Maybe your first boss who had patience. Jordan Love got busted for smoking pot in college, had a bad junior year. I talked to GMs who weren't in him at all, but those were GMs that needed quarterbacks to play immediately. Green Bay never does. They moved off Favre. Brett had one more great year in him, then regressed. They moved off Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love by December looked better. Jordan Love could have easily been another first-round miss. A discarded quarterback in a league full of them. But instead, Green Bay and Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, this is what they do, found him, were patient, they developed, and in one season last year, he went from bad to pretty good to wow, and they're all in. Guidance, patience. Green Bay treats quarterbacks in a way like we should all treat our kids. They get frustrated, but they keep imparting wisdom. They keep being patient. They take their time. And then, before anybody else quite sees it, they go all in. And they've been right 3 times in a row. No other franchise in league history has done quarterbacks from drafting and developing better than the smallest market in America for pro sports. I've always said sometimes there's a disadvantage to being in New York, D.C., Philadelphia, Los Angeles. You have more money and waste more money. They can't afford to do that in Green Bay. Free agents generally don't choose them. And that patience, once again, pays off at the sport's most important position.
Okay, so this is really funny because any of you Green Bay Packers fans out there will absolutely know that Colin was trying to make Jordan Love one of those first-round misses. I mean, like, he really was. He kept beating the drum, Jordan Love is not the guy, Jordan Love is not the guy, Jordan Love is not the guy. He kept saying it. Even last season he was saying it. He's like, Matt LaFleur clearly doesn't like Jordan Love. And he would have guests on, right? And he would say, Jordan Love's not the guy, right? And the guests would push back and they'll be like, he is that guy. You know, and these are guys that have like, either at practices or they have insider information because they're actually talking to current players, like whatever it may be. And he like kept trying to say they're not the guy, not the guy, not the guy. Now, Colin has a very strict way to view the world, right? He has these formulas that he tries to live by, that he really uses them as tough cutoff points, which to a degree I get. Right? We all need these frames around life to a degree to navigate the world because life can be just crazy and chaotic and we need to have a way to kind of make sense of stuff. And so Colin, right, famously has the backwards hat rule, right? And for him, that's where he just automatically now can make that decision and just say, yep, not serious. He said something on the more recent side about when he's interviewing people to work for him for whether it be at First Things, FS1 or through his own, individual companies. He says, like, he asked them if they golf. And if they golf, he doesn't want to work with them because that means that they're not serious enough, that they're not all in. And it's like, That's not the reality either. Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala went golfing during the NBA Finals against LeBron James and the Cavaliers, and they ended up winning. Like, does that mean that Steph Curry's not serious about trying to win in basketball? Of course not. And one of his things now that he says, by the second year for a quarterback, by Thanksgiving, you either know if he's the dude or not. And that's what he kept saying. Like, he is not it. Jordan Love is not it. And now Jordan Love, after Thanksgiving, goes on a run. And now he's like, the Packers do it right. Jordan Love is king. Pay the man. He deserves the bag. Now, again, credit to Colin. He does change his mind. We know there's plenty of people on TV, in life, YouTube, wherever, that will double down, right? They would say that Jordan Love's not the guy, and then they would continue to still just keep saying, Jordan Love's not it. Jordan Love's not it. Just wait. He only had 10 good games. There you go. He's trash. And so credit to Colin. He does change his mind, but this is just one of the funnier stories to me more than anything about how Colin has treated Jordan Love. I think he's admitted that he was wrong for the most part, but you know, he's right now, if you just saw this clip, you would think that he was like, that he's pretty much railing on the guys that wanted to get rid of Jordan Love, that weren't patient enough on him, and he's pretty much saying, like, you gotta be patient, right? The Packers do it right, and it's like, well, yes, they do it right, but I think almost in all these clips, Colin should pretty much admit, I was wrong. I was one of those guys that said they should cut him loose, but you know, no. But yes, Jordan Love, I think at this point, I go back and forth in this. Everyone knows that I'm a huge Jordan Love fan and I'm really high on the Packers. But in terms of when you pay someone, I'm a patient person in that regard. I'd rather pay someone slightly too late than too early, because the NFL is littered with quarterbacks who balled out for a season or two only to never live up to what those years looked like. And to be very clear, I am not saying that I think that that is the case with Jordan Love. But I think that it's just always good to see more. You always want more. You always want to be able to see more. You do want a larger resume, a larger sample size of games. But with all that said, I would have no problem paying Jordan Love, because I can't imagine Jordan Love. Let's say Jordan Love was exceptionally hot at the end of last season, right? And let's say he does pull back a little bit. It's hard for me to imagine that he regresses to a bust, to a quarterback that nobody wants. So that's why I would be okay paying him. Because even if you pay him like top dollar and he ends up, right? Because right now it's seen that maybe Jordan Love could be like a top 3 quarterback, right? That's like an actual legitimate expectation that like he is for real. He has arrived. He is Jordan freaking Love. Let's go. The Packers are going to be competitive for the next 10 years, right? That is the expectations. And I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe Jordan Love. I've made a video months and months and months and months and months ago, last season, saying Jordan Love has arrived. He is here. Let's go. So I've said that before any of this other stuff. But I do think that with Jordan Love, if he does pull back, he's still worth the amount of money that you're going to have to pay him, right? Even if he ends up only being a top 8 quarterback, a top 10 quarterback, you're not going to move off of Jordan Love. And he's clearly shown to be able to be a difference maker. There's all different degrees of quarterback play where maybe you are really great at times, but you have a little inconsistency to you. And that's why you're not top 3, because you could do amazing things, but you can't do it consistently enough. Then you have other quarterbacks who can only really ball out against bad teams. But once you play a good team, they just can't get the job done. The defenses confuse them. If the offense gets a little bit more complicated, they can't catch up. They just can't do it. Or they can't handle the bigger moments. And that's where Dak Prescott comes in. Dak Prescott is a really good quarterback, but has consistently proven to not be able to be a difference maker. And so in that situation, you would say, I don't know how comfortable I am paying him all that money. Now you have someone like Jordan Love where you know I am willing to pay this guy all this money because he's already proven to be a difference maker. Now the only question mark is how consistent will he be? Will he be able to be a difference maker game? And you can't do it all the time. Not even Patrick Mahomes is a difference maker 100% of the time. And it's all a spectrum. 95% of the time, 90% of the time, 80%, and it goes on. And that is what it is. We know Jalen Hurts, for instance, maybe doesn't have the consistency, or at least he was based off of what happened last season. You could say maybe he's not as consistent, but we know that he has the ability to be a difference maker. We know Brock Purdy is incredibly consistent, but does he have the ability to be a difference maker? I would argue that he has shown in some games he can, some games not. So again, it's like, how consistently can he be a difference maker? We know Josh Allen can be a difference maker, but though his turnovers take away from his consistency factor. These are all things that you have to kind of weigh. That's what made Tom Brady so great, is because his floor was so consistent, and he obviously could be a difference maker at any moment. And that's what you also have with Patrick Mahomes. His consistency is through the roof, and he can be a difference maker. And that's where now you are with Jordan Love. We've seen the sample size of him absolutely balling out and arguably being the best quarterback in the NFL during that stretch. And now the question is how consistent will that be? Because we don't have that answer. No one knows that answer. You can try to predict it. You can do whatever. You can give me all the reasons why, but they're made up reasons because you don't know. You have no idea, zero idea how consistent someone's going to be until they do it. That's just a reality. You had no idea Patrick Mahomes was going to be consistently great until he did it. You just don't know. There's no reliable way to predict that. Nobody would have been able to predict that some of these other quarterbacks just fell off. And again, to be very clear, I do not think Jordan Love is just going to fall off. I would think at the maximum, he would take a step back, would settle into a top 10 quarterback of some sort. And if that's the case, then yeah, pay the man. Give him the money, because even if he becomes like a top 10 quarterback and that's just the peak of his career, he still has shown the ability to be a difference maker in the playoffs. Therefore, you can win playoff games, NFC Championship games, and Super Bowls with him. To me, that is good enough. And that is why when I compare it to the Dak Prescott hasn't shown to be that difference maker, especially against good teams. Therefore, even if he is consistently within the realm or generally around a top 10 quarterback, when it matters most, he is not. And so that's why it's a nuanced take. It's a nuanced approach of how to evaluate a quarterback. So I would be comfortable definitely paying Jordan Love. My ears are still perked up, and to be like, okay, like how consistently great can he be? How does he manage some bad games here and there? Because we haven't seen that yet, because he kind of played like okay, and then he shot through the roof, right? He just shot out of a cannon and like took over, which was obviously wildly exciting. And I suspect he will continue with that. So again, I just want to emphasize very clearly, because I'm sure a lot of Packers fans are going to see this. I am not saying that I think that Jordan Love is only going to be a top 10 quarterback. I'm not saying that I think Jordan Love is going to regress big time. I'm just saying that even if those things do happen, which of course are a potential, we even saw Patrick Mahomes take a step back this last season, it's not even the end of the world, and it's still worth the money. That's why I think you can just pay this guy and not have to worry about it, not have to do this whole song and dance of like, what do we do? What do we do? We have to wait to see more games, because one, I think he's going to be great, and I think he's going to be a top quarterback. I think he will be in the conversation of the Allens, the Strouds, the Mahomes, like all of these players where you're like, yeah, I'm more than happy. I will never pick up a phone to get rid of my quarterback, because I'm not getting rid of Jordan Love. I'm not getting rid of Josh Allen. I'm not getting rid of Patrick Mahomes. And that is the category that Colin puts quarterbacks in, where it's like, would you pick up the phone for a trade or not? Right? And I'm not picking up the phone if Josh Allen's my quarterback, not picking up the phone if Mahomes is my quarterback, not picking up the phone if CJ Stroud's my quarterback. And you can put Jordan Love in there as well. As you guys have known this now for a while, and I guess I will always just have to keep repeating this, I don't rank quarterbacks. I don't put them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not interesting to me. I really do not care. I put them in groups, and I put Jordan Love in the top, right? I definitely put him in the top level group, because I really do think he's that good. But without a doubt, he's got more to prove. I mean, you could be the biggest Packers fan, the biggest Jordan Love fan. He has more to prove. That's just not argue. You know, you can't argue against that. But I think he will succeed and excel. And I think it's just definitely exciting times for Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And I definitely think they are a massive threat this season to winning the NFC and getting to the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. I mean, I think even if they made it to the Super Bowl last season, they had a great chance at beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they've proven that. I think they are deserving of being a bona fide, legitimate threat, even though Vegas technically doesn't have them. They have the Cowboys having a better chance against the Packers, which is insane to me. I don't even understand how to comprehend that. But I really think Jordan Love and the Packers are for real. Top to bottom, that roster is great. Great coaching, great everything, maturity. It's a young team that has now already leapfrogged a lot of experience that they needed, that you could have said, well, they're young, they don't have experience. Well, now they have the experience. Now they know what it's like to win a big game on the road. Now they know what it's like to lose a tough game, to have a close game. They have all that. They're going to ride that momentum into this coming season. And I think the sky's the limit for the Packers. But that is just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Jordan Love deserves the bag? What do you think about Colin changing his tune on Jordan Love? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.